Hey, second grade friends. Today is Monday. Here is your first phonics lesson for the week. My plan was to make a new card deck video, but I left my cards at home and I'm filming at school today. So I will get another one that my dog doesn't interrupt and you don't have to see my dog every day. But I will get that up at some point this week. So there's a new one and we're going to add in some other cards as well. So that'll be good to update that. We're going to go ahead and start with some review. Let's see if you remember some facts about the alphabet. What is an alphabet? An alphabet is a set of symbols that represent sounds. How many letters are in our alphabet? Say it out loud. 26. 26 letters in our alphabet. And there are at least 40 sounds. What are the smaller parts that make up our words? Letters make up words, and also syllables, word parts, make up words as well, such as music. Music has 2 syllables that make up the word music. What 2 kinds of letters make up our alphabet? You have vowels and consonants. Very good, consonants. And the last thing I want to ask you is about those vowels and consonants. What are our vowels? What are our vowels? Say them out loud. There's 5 of them. Good. A, E, I, O, U. And the other letters, all the other letters are consonants. Consonants, okay? So that's some good review. And hopefully you watched the card deck video for your letters, your picture cards, and your sight words. I just want to mention this to you. I'm on Spelling and High Frequency Word Practice 11, and you'll see that there are 30 different blanks here. And what this is used for is to go through the letter cards and talk about what sound represents what letter represents each sound. So I'm going to start with you, but a lot of the kiddos are really pretty comfortable with this at this point. So if you are a teacher at home and you think my kid still needs this, absolutely still do it. Use the card deck video, and with all the card decks you can say monkey, and then your child can write M. Okay, so you would look at the video and then they would write. Okay, to understand the correspondence between those sounds and those letters and those pictures. But I think we're going to move on today. Go ahead and flip the page over. We are now on the Saxon Phonics and Spelling 2 page. First, we're going to start with some review words. So if your phonics from last week and the week before is in your brain, you're going to be able to, no worries, do these review words. So first review word is swam. Swam. Write it. Sw. Write it. Like monkey. And here's the word swam. I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead and write that down while I remind you about finger spelling. What it really should look like to you is if you're right-handed, your left hand is up and you start with your pinky. S, write it. W. And that's swam. If you're left-handed, you would start with your thumb. S, write it. W, write it. Write it. Okay, that way it's left to right. And you can separate those sounds a little bit easier as well. All right, friends. Number 2 review word is west. West. We are heading west. Go ahead and write it. Finger spell those sounds and words. When you're done writing it, take a peek up here. This is how you spell west. West. A very fair word, follows your phonics rules. W-E-S-T. West. The next word is drop. Drop. I often drop my pencil. Der is a blend. You hear both sounds of both of those letters, but they blend together nicely. Der, op. Go ahead and write it. Then check with me. And you'll see that's a very fair word as well. Okay, now we're going to practice those sight words. Words you have to memorize by sight because they often have unfair parts to the word or unfair positions because they break the phonics rules. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Number 4 is the number 8. 8. Write it. You'll see 8 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. 8 is spelled E, I, G, H, and T. This is a very unfair part of the word. I hear the T in the end of the word, but the rest of the word, it breaks the rules. It's kind of tough. Number 5. Number 5 is do. You always should do your homework. Do. All right, I hear the D in do, and it is represented by an E. I'm sorry, a D, but then it's just an O. Now, usually the oo sound is O-O, but this sight word, that part breaks the rule. That's an unfair part of the word. It's just an O, D-O. Number 6, the next sight word I would like you to spell is who. Who. Who sounds like it should start with an H, but it is a rule breaker in the beginning position. Who, and again, it breaks the O sound, ah. It does not say ah like octopus or O like overalls. It says oo, and that's usually vowel digraph O-O. So that's why these are so ornery and you have to memorize them. Okay, we're going to hold off on new words. And I'd like you, with your teacher at home, out loud to yourself, go ahead and say we, W-E, we, check, check. B, B-E, B, check, check. You can pause the video and do that section now. Go ahead and do all of them. All right, friends, we are ready for the lesson of the day. So I'm just going to flip this over. Don't worry about this yet. I would like you to just repeat the words that I say, okay? Echo these words and listen to the sound at the end of the words. Back, repeat. Lock, repeat. Tuck, repeat. And neck, repeat. What sound do you hear at the end of these words? You're right, k is what you hear at the end of the words. The k sound is at the end of back, lock, tuck, and neck. Hear what these words look like. Back, lock, tuck, and neck. What is making the k sound at the end of these words? A C and a K. A C and a K is at the end of these words, and it represents the k sound. Does anyone know what kind of sound that a CK is? A CK is a digraph. A digraph. Now, digraphs are different than blends. Blends are two letters that go together. You can still hear their sounds. They just blend real smoothly together. But CK digraph, a digraph is two letters that go together to make one sound. So you don't hear k, k, k. You just hear one k, okay? So two letters that come together to make one sound. We code those by underlining them. So that's why I underlined right here. You code the CK like all other digraphs by underlining them, just like that. All right. There are two different kinds of digraphs in the English language. There are digraphs that are consonant digraphs, like these, because a C and a K is a consonant digraph. There's also vowel digraphs. Vowel digraphs can be a little bit more tricky, and we'll spend some more time on those a little bit later. Let's go ahead and finish coding these words. How are we going to code these vowels? You know that all vowels need to be coded. So how are we going to code these vowels? Well, all of these vowels are followed by consonants. So we're going to go ahead and breathe them. Breathe them. And that's how you would code these words. Why did we breathe them? Because they're followed by a consonant. That's a rule we learned last week. Okay? So those are all the codes for these words. We'll be talking more about these words a little bit later in the lesson, but I'd like to show you the new cards that we have. So let's take a look at the letter card. I'm going to flip this around so it's out of the way for a minute and all you see is white. Here's the letter card, and when you see this letter card, you say digraph CK. Repeat that with me. Ready, go. Digraph CK. Very good. Digraph CK. All right, I have a card with a picture on it that will help us remember the k sound when using the CK digraph. I'm going to describe it to you. Can't peek. Can't see it. I'm going to describe it to you. Raise your hand high in the sky and wave at me from your house. If you figured it out, if you think you know what it is, this is a bird. It's got short legs. It's got k in the final position. Has webbed feet. Likes to swim in lakes and ponds. It says quack. What do you think it is? Our new picture card. Say it out loud. Duck. You're right, it's duck. Duck is our picture card. Okay? The duck is the key word and the sound we've learned for the k sound. The word duck helps us remember the k sound because it ends with k. Okay? Does anyone know why the letter C is crossed out on our duck card? This C is crossed out because the letters in a digraph only make one sound. The sound is not k, it's just one sound, k. All right, so the letter C doesn't make a sound, then that's why we're going to go ahead and cross it out when coding. Whenever letters do not make any sounds, we call them silent letters. We code silent letters by crossing them out. So these words are not completely coded yet. We thought we were done, but we're not done. Silent letters get crossed out. Two letters make one sound. You don't hear the C, you hear the K. So I'm going to cross out the C's. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look back at our practice sheet. Okay, we're going to hold off on that. Sorry, we're going to wait for that. I want to teach you the rules for the K sound at the end of a word. You'll notice that all these words have something in common, and all these words do have short vowels, but here is a final K rules. Now, that is not fitting very well, and I don't like that. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I can hold it up a little bit. All right, friends, here is the rule, the final K spelling rule. You use a CK when you hear K at the end of a word after a short vowel, like black, duck, and lock. Short vowel, short vowel, short vowel. When you hear a K in the final position and you spell it with just a K, it's after a consonant or a vowel digraph. A vowel digraph is two vowels that make one sound. So take a look at these words. Milk has the K in the final position after a consonant L. So that's why it's not CK, it's just a K. Book has just a K to spell the K in the final position because there's a vowel digraph. And week has a K in the final position because it's got a vowel digraph EE. So when you're spelling words and you hear a K in the final position, you have these two choices, but you still have two more. KE can also spell K in the final position. KE is used when you have a long vowel. And this is the sneaky E rule. So broke, like, and make all have long vowels. And I highlighted them in yellow there. So I know right after it, it's going to be the k with a K-E. One last way you can spell k in the final position is with just the letter C. This doesn't happen quite as often, but it does happen. At the end of a word with 2 or more syllables, you use a C to represent the k sound, like with garlic, picnic, and Atlantic. You'll see I put the division lines in there to show you that these both have 2 syllables, so I know the C is in the final position. Atlantic has 3 syllables, and that's why C is represented with a k in the final position. So all of these rules are going to be very important when spelling words, okay? So I want to show you something. I want you to go ahead and go back to this page and have some new words. When I say k from now on, when we do this page right here, you have 3 choices to represent that k. Used to be K comma C or C comma K, either way was fine, but now we have also in the final position a CK. So if I say k, I want you just to write this up here. K comma C, this symbol means final position, CK. Okay? And also, I don't know if we're going to go that far yet today. Let me make sure. Okay, we're just going to go that far for now. You'll see that there is other things too, like we already said. It could be just a K, K-E, or a C, but for now this is how we're going to write that, and I'll help you with that if you're confused by that later. Moving on to new words. We're going to do some new words with those spelling patterns in them. Here is a new word. Pick, pick. Pick or to choose. Pick has a short vowel in it, so p, write it, I, and since it's a short vowel, I know from this final K spelling words, we're focusing on the CK today, short vowel followed by a CK. I did tell you all the different ways, but we are going to focus on the CK today. Number 8, repeat clock. Clock, very good. There's a blend there. Right, clock. K in the final position. Clock. Check your work. It should be C-L-O-C-K. Number 9 is the color black. Repeat black. Good, black. Another blend at the beginning. Bull. Write it. And then check your answer with mine. Black is B-L-A-C-K. All of these words I heard at the end the k sound. And I knew it wasn't just K. It's not K-E. It's not a C. It's a C-K. That's our focus today. And we use a C-K in the final position for k when it has a short vowel. And all of these do. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the paper for today. Go ahead and flip over to worksheet 11. Worksheet 11. All right, friends, so let's take a look at number 1 and fill this out with me. We're going to take a look at this word, B-L-O-C-K. Now, just for you to keep in mind, this is how you code a CK in a word. It's right there at the top. So let's go ahead and look at the word and see if there's any vowels in the word, and there always is. And I also see our digraph CK. So let's underline the digraph CK. You don't hear the silent C, so we're going to cross that out. And because it's CK at the end, I know this O should be breathed. I also know because there's a consonant after it. And blend this sound together. Block. Block. A block is like a toy, a kid's block. So you'll see it's right there. Draw your line. Number 2, T-R-A-C-K. I'm going to right away underline our CK digraph that we learned today. Cross out the C. There is a vowel A. Since it's followed by a consonant, I know it's breathed. And the blend ter doesn't get coded, but ter-ack, track, track. A track is where you can run. If you go to the football games, there's a track around it so that kiddos can run and race on the track. No picture of a track. Go ahead and get all those codes filled in. There's 3 spots. No K-backs on that one. No make runs. So we're going to move on to number 3. Number 3, go ahead and underline the CK. Cross out the silent C. I know this I is breathed because it's the short sound. It's followed by a consonant. There's one more code. Did you find it? It's one I always forget. You'll probably catch me forgetting it sometime. It's a K-back, this guy right here. Now you don't K-back this C because it's silent, okay? But this C sounds like K, so we K-back. And this word is click, click. Sometimes I take the remote control and I click to the next button or the next channel. Click. No picture of click. Number 4, here's a great review. You'll see there's no CK digraph, so I'm going to go right to looking at the vowels. This vowel is not followed by a consonant, so I know it needs to be make-round and accented, and that word is we. We. Repeat, we. Good, we. No picture of we. Number 5, this is another great review. How many vowels do you see there? How many vowels? Show me with your fingers. Good, 2 vowels, and the vowels are O and E. So I'm going to put a little V under this O and a little V under that E. Code in between, the ends are consonants. When we see a VCCV pattern, the best place to divide the line with the division line is right between the consonants. Also, most of the time, when you have a VCCV pattern, the first syllable is accented. What's the next step we need to do? We need to code the vowels. So the O is followed by a consonant, it's breathed. The E is followed by a consonant, it's breathed. And now we know how to sound this word out. Focus on bon, then knit, net, bonnet. Bonnet. It's a bonnet. It's an old-fashioned bonnet, something that girls wore over their heads back pilgrims and so forth in history. And number 6 today is R-A-C-K. I see that CK digraph. I'm going to underline it. Cross out the silent C. I know the A is short, so I'm going to breathe it. Do all these with me. And that's it. Oh, but is it? There's one more thing I got to do. A rack. A rack for clothes is something you can hang your clothes on, a clothing rack. So that's rack. So today we coded block, track, click, we, bonnet, and rack. And all of those words are going to be in your head and you're going to be coding them. If you feel like it's a struggle or if you feel like family at home, they need some more practice, the back of the paper is there and you're welcome to do that. It's the same codings that we did on the front. So thank you. Let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and submit this video when you've completed the video and completed the workbook page. Thanks, everyone.